Welcome to Sunny Anime, a place where you can watch a whole anime without spending hours of your precious time. Do subscribe to our channel and like this video before we get to the storyline. Now, let's start the video. It's the part 2 of One Piece Wano arc. If you haven't watched part 1 already, please watch that part before watching this video for better understanding. The story continues as a group of swordsmen, led by Basil Hawkins, arriving to investigate an incident involving 2 watchmen. Hawkins instructs his companions not to report this to Kaido. Luffy, perched on a tree near Hitetsu's home, thinks about Ace's death at Marineford 2 years ago. When Hitetsu comes out, Luffy asks for information on getting food, water, and medical help for Tama. Hitetsu points him to a nearby town across a dangerous wasteland, warning about the beast pirates in the area. Undaunted, Luffy gets a traditional Wano outfit from Hitetsu, as his current clothes stand out too much. Hitetsu, unable to leave the town for undisclosed reasons, promises to pay Luffy for the doctor's visit later. While exploring, Luffy spots a sword on the wall with a distinct purple aura and decides to take it. However, Hitetsu reveals that it's the cursed Nidai Kitetsu, a weapon made by his ancestor Kotetsu and part of the prestigious Mado collection. Hitetsu begins explaining the Mado grades, but Luffy is in a hurry to get to the town. Undeterred, Hitetsu follows, trying to get the Nidai Kitetsu back. He reveals the cursed nature of the sword and urges Luffy to carry it on his hip instead. To Luffy's dismay, the alternative sword is also a Mado. Determined to continue his journey, Luffy takes things into his own hands, grabbing Hitetsu by the nose and tossing him back. Luffy, along with Tama and Kamachio, dashes forward. During their journey, Tama wakes up and, upon seeing Luffy, remembers his earlier revelation about Ace's death. Filled with disbelief and sorrow, she cries, hits Luffy, and calls him a liar. Tama clings to the hope that Ace is still alive, fueled by his promise to return once she grows up. Ace had encouraged her dream of becoming a skilled kunoichi and assured her that he'd come back once she matured. As they reach the outskirts of the bamboo forest, Luffy is surprised by the vast wasteland ahead. The landscape is marred by factories and teeming with wild animals. In the flower capital, Zoro continues to avoid capture, raising questions about the effectiveness of the police. In the wasteland, Zoro enjoys a feast of meat that he hunted elsewhere. The tempting aroma of cooking meat captivates Luffy, but Tama warns him that the food is toxic because the animals have ingested polluted river water. She explains that the Shogun and Kaido have a private farm to get uncontaminated food. Tama's condition worsens, and she becomes overwhelmed by hunger. In the distance, a woman is pursued by 2 beast pirates, and just as they're about to catch her, Zoro makes a dramatic entrance. Quickly, Zoro takes down the attackers, and a grateful woman wants to repay him for his heroism, but lacks the requested sake. As Luffy rushes to embrace Zoro, the 2 Straw Hat Pirates joyfully reunite. Lured by the tantalizing meat smell, Luffy quickly indulges in the meal, only to realize it's indeed poisoned, leading to a severe stomachache. Their happy reunion takes a sudden pause as Basil Hawkins and his crew ominously arrive. Hawkins identifies Luffy as a high-priority intruder and unsheathes his sword. Hawkins' ability allows him to harm the person the doll represents while keeping himself unharmed. He suggests a game and summons a massive straw monster that hovers above them. He chooses a tarot card, going for the reverse fool card, causing his subordinates to turn against each other. Meanwhile, Kamachio, the loyal baboon, takes Luffy and Zoro away from the battle as Luffy deals with pursuing soldiers. However, Hawkins draws his second card, the reverse Hierophant, and the straw monster starts chasing Kamachio, Zoro, and Luffy. Zoro faces the monstrous creation, landing powerful blows. But Hawkins shifts the damage to his subordinates, and the monster shoots nails at Zoro, causing minor injuries. Eventually, it overpowers Kamachio. Zoro manages to defeat the monster by cutting off its hand and using his signature move, the Nijiri Toro Stamen, to split the creature into two pieces before it disintegrates. Despite the monster's destruction, Hawkins remains unharmed, having transferred the damage to one of his subordinates. He draws a third tarot card, choosing the Hierophant card, and foresees the arrival of someone who will help Luffy and Zoro. Luffy and Zoro manage to get away from Hawkins, but Tama is getting sicker. Kamachio is worried, but a mysterious woman, who Zoro once saved from pirates, comes to help. She leads them to Okabori Town, where they can find a cure for Tama. In Okabori Town, they go to a tea house. Zoro stops a sumo wrestler from bothering a waitress. Luffy grinds herbs, and Suru makes medicine for Tama. Beppo and the other heart pirates watch Luffy, and they have a mission to find Law, who's in a nearby tent. At the same time, on the scary shores of Onigashima, Kaido is really angry. In Okabori Town, Luffy, Zoro, Suru, Kamakio, and Kiku find safety in the tea house. They decide to help Tama get better. Tama is in a soft bed, and Kiku gives Luffy some medicine that tastes a bit funny. Tama doesn't want it at first, but she takes it in the end. Kiku offers to help Zoro with his wounds, and he says yes, even though he was unsure. When Tama wakes up, she feels much better. But she gets super hungry and runs to a dirty river for a drink. Suru scolds her for being reckless and stops a big problem. Zoro thanks Kiku for helping and for standing up to Urashima. Inside the tea house, Suru makes a tasty dessert for Tama. But Tama still worries about not having enough food or medicine and keeps saying no to their help. Suru gets impatient and threatens to throw the food away if Tama doesn't stop refusing help. Finally, because she cares about her new friends and knows food is scarce in Okaburi, Tama agrees and accepts the meal her friends offer. Luffy and Zoro sit outside the nice tea house with Tama. She looks unsure about the hot bowl of soup in front of her. The wind blows, making things quiet. Luffy encourages Tama to eat, reminding her that today is her special day, her birthday. He tells her to enjoy the meal. Tama's eyes fill with tears as she takes her first bite. The warm and tasty food makes her forget her worries. She smiles as she enjoys the good taste. She says it's not just delicious, it's the best day of her life. Luffy remembers what Hitetsu told him about Tama being poor. Tenma explains that her special power can make dango, but it can't really fill an empty stomach. Tired from all that's happened, she falls asleep, and it's peaceful. While Tama sleeps, Luffy thinks about how angry he is at the mean Kaido and his beast pirates for hurting Curry's land and people. He gets ready to fight them, but Zoro stops him with a grip on his shoulder, reminding him not to cause trouble in this strange place. Suru, who is pretty observant, figures out that Luffy, Zoro, and Tama aren't from around the town. She's really understanding and promises to keep their secret. She tells them a bit about the town's history. It used to be called Paradise Farm, and the Kazuki family grew a vineyard to feed the village. But the beast pirates and the mean Shogun Orochi made the farm off limits, so now the town has to rely on small food supplies from Bakura town. Tama and the others suffer because of this. Without them knowing, someone evil is listening to their conversation. An arrow aimed to hurt Suru is shot, but Zoro blocks it with his sword quickly. The arrow stays in the air until Zoro sends it away. Their attacker is a bat human with bat smile powers. He challenges Zoro and Luffy to stop any rebellion against Orochi. He shoots a bunch of arrows really well, but Zoro and Luffy protect themselves with strong haki defenses. Zoro uses a powerful sword move to destroy the arrows. The bat human is surprised and wonders if Zoro is the famous one-eyed Ronin outlaw. While they're busy fighting the bat human, Tama gets taken away by gazelle men really fast. She's scared and calls for Luffy to save her. Gazelleman is happy about capturing Tama, and Batman's arrows keep Luffy and Zoro distracted. But Kiku, a brave warrior with a special sword, jumps into action. He chases after Gazelman, using Kamachio to move fast. Luffy grabs onto Kamachio with his stretchy Gomu Gomu no Mei powers, and Zoro joins the rescue mission. They're determined to save Tama and bring her back safely. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in another video. Till then, bye-bye.